Hi everybody, I'm SS the Showstopper and I'm over on the Devil Advocate channel. It's here for Lord the 3rd of October 2022. And today I want to talk on a much more deeper topic. And the topic is on bullying. It's on bullying. I know you see the thumbnail, so you might be wondering how does bullying come in with the thumbnail, or how does it intertwine? I'm gonna break it down. Eventually, stick around, you will see where I'm heading with this. Now, let us define what bullying is. And I just scribbled it down, or the definition of bullying. And it is a form of aggressive behavior in someone intentionally. A form of aggressive behavior in someone intentionally and repeatedly causes injury and discomfort to others. That's what bullying is. Aggressive behavior in someone, and it's done repeatedly, causes injury and discomfort to others. Now, I think we all across the island have seen the news or have heard the news of the student attending Kingston Technical High who STAB the other student, which leads to the death of the student. Now the killer is in custody. When I look under the comments on social media, the remarks are very caustic. Big fat gorilla, big fat sour gal, big black this, big black that, big ugly this. She no fin a school, a grandmother that, a mama that, a beating pitney, a this, a that, big stinking this, big sour this, sour that. And people don't realize that reckless internet posting, or RIP, is a form of bullying. The things that you people or you guys are posting on the internet about the student who committed murder are things that student heard repeatedly. Those are things, I don't have to interview this student to know. Those are things that students have heard repeatedly. Now imagine that student, I'm thinking, is around 17 or probably 16 years old. Now imagine most of her life she's been told that. Do you know how it affects the psyche of a child? Hearing such disgraceful, disrespectful, inhumane, degenerate comments being made about her physical appearance. People are comparing her to the girl that was killed, saying that it's because she looked better and it's because who looked better and it's because that's possibly the case. That's possibly the case. But if we look at where it's coming from being bullied. A lot of people I also see, I'm sure so many of us were bullied throughout our lives. We don't kill each other. Yes, you do. We have a high crime rate in the country. We have a high crime rate. And if you want to link it to chopping the line, scamming, you want to link it through to gang, to extortion, it doesn't matter what you want to link it to. A high crime rate is a high crime rate. And the ills in society is a contributory factor to the high crime rate. The things that people were saying are the things that people have been saying about the student who committed the crime hurts. She's a human being. She was being told all these things. I'm sure if the mother wishes to speak, I'm sure she's going to hide or whatever to protect her safety and from being harassed by the public and stuff like that. I'm sure she can attest that her daughter was the subject of being bullied. There's an anti-bully campaign that has been in Jamaica for a few years now. I wouldn't say a few, several years now. An anti-bully campaign has been in Jamaica. You're looking at the face of the anti-bully campaign. So all the principals across the island, all the teachers across the island, all the parents across the island, you are looking at the person who established the anti-bully campaign, whether you want to believe it or not. It started out from a foundation in Montego Bay, of which I was a part of. That foundation wanted a campaign, and I gave the suggestion, why don't you start an anti-bully campaign? Why don't you go into anti-bullying? There's no anti-bully campaign, there's no anti-bully slogan, there's none of it across the island. Why don't you start one? I'm sure, and put it in schools, put it in the homes so that parents can know the dangers of bullying. I suggested it to the foundation. The foundation went with it. The foundation ran with the idea. It was so great. So many people came on board all over the world. They got a particular MP as, I think, the director of the anti-bully campaign. I was never made mention. I was never given my credit. All the ideas of the anti-bully campaign came from me. I not only suggested it, I gave the ideas throughout the whole making up of it. So when you see an anti-bully campaign all over, it started by me. I was the one. That person, the owner of the foundation, they went on many interviews. They went all over people, and stuff like that. They were interviewed several times. My name was never made mention. And yes, I am taking my credit because it is owed to me. And I feel very good knowing that I established something very well. And I would love my credit for it. And I'm taking it because it was never given to me. So I am taking it. I establish it. If they wish to come and speak out on it, or they wish to come and speak the truth, they will tell you. It started by SS the Showstopper. Yeah, me. I started the anti-bully campaign in Jamaica. My reason for doing it was the acknowledgement of the dangers of bullying. It leads to nothing good. So many people, yes, have said they were bullied throughout their lives and they get over it and this and that. And as I said before, the high crime rate in the country is a contributor for it's pride. It's a premium. The crime rate is a premium evidence of what bullying does. If you study the case of Erick Smith, there was a 14-year-old by the name of Erick Smith in the United States who committed a very wicked act. He took the life of a 4-year-old infant. Erick Smith was a 14-year-old freckled-faced, red-head, Caucasian boy. He spoke out about being bullied, because of his features. They were wee look. He was short in stature. He was 14 years old, short in stature. He had red hair. He had freckled face, and he was bullied. He admitted to the killing of a 4-year-old. I think his name was Derek Robbie. 4-year-old baby boy, Derek Robbie. He lured the child and committed a gruesome murder. They asked him, "Why did you do it?" He said, he don't know. He saw a blonde-haired child, a little blonde-haired boy, and he just took him away and stuff like that. Then he began going into details of how he was being bullied in school because of his features, because of his looks. Now you might get over it. Or you might say, okay, yes, it's just a thing and we are all kids and nothing is wrong with that. But we live with pain. We live with pain. It hurts. There are people who are grown today who speak on the things that they went through as a child. People bully them, people talk about them. They haven't healed. They haven't healed because it's a deep wound. Bullying is extremely dangerous. I was bullied. I had stretch marks on my body ever since I was a child growing up. I had stretch marks all over my body. And I was bullied for it. All my life I was bullied for it. I turned a negative into a positive picture. And I began modeling. Yes, when there was less of me, I began modeling. I was loved. I was appreciated. I turned my flaws into beauty. People admired me. All over the Caribbean, I was modeling. Though short, though I had a lot of stretch marks on my body, I turned a negative into a positive picture. Give me a lot of perks, I can say. But that might not be the reality of other people. Because I had to dig very deep in myself to find that endearment. To find it. Being 5 feet, 5? Or 5 feet 4.5 on a bad day. Full of stretch marks. Modeling. Imagine that. Imagine that. I entered Miss Jamaica. Modeling. I decided to turn a negative into a positive picture. The bullying of my skin, the bullying of how I look, and all these kind of things, I've endured it also. It made me stronger. It made me stronger. Everybody does not have the same strength, however. So it's very important for parents to teach their kids to love themselves, to take care of themselves, and learn to respect each other. Learn to respect each other, or if you can't, leave each other alone. Calling a child gorilla, ape, this big black that. She has enough stripes against her. She was born a female, born a woman. Was to endure a lot of disrespect. And now being bullied because of her features. And these are grown adults on the internet saying these things. They are not children. These are grown adults talking about, she's a big black this and maybe that's why she's violent. Because of being disrespected. Because of the things that are being said about her. Who wants to walk around knowing that someone is thinking that of them when they see them? They see a big black gorilla. I see even vloggers on the internet saying some caustic things. Very destructive. Very destructive. The kind of maniacal behavior. There's a lot of passion in the hate for her physical appearance. It's like if you see her, you want to do damage. It's like, it's so evil. What kind of human being walking around with that much evil in them? Now can you imagine what that teenager is facing? Where she would walk with a knife in her uniform and decide that she's going to stab. She's going to take the life of another teen. Charity begins at home. As a little girl, I used to hear that. Charity begins at home. Parents need to talk to their kids. You need to be careful of what you're saying to others. Be careful of what you do to others. Why do we have a passion to hurt each other? Why Why is there a passion to hurt each other? It has to stop. It affects the psyche of an individual. And it makes them want to lash out. She can't go after an adult, so she's going to go after another student. And she's going to exercise the same hurt. That's what she did. She exercised the same hurt that was meted out to her on another student. I remember I have a daughter, and when she was little, she came home crying one evening, and she was crying, "Hey, mommy," and she said, "A boy boxed me at school." And immediately I put on my clothes and I went around the school that same evening. And it's the Almighty God why that student wasn't there that evening, because I'm probably in prison. The following day I went there and I demanded to speak with the principal and so forth, and the teacher came out, the guidance counselor came out, they called the parent. Parent said that she was sick, she didn't want to come, because I really wanted to see that parent, and she didn't want to, she was sick, she didn't want to come, she sent someone else and stuff like that. And in the meeting, the representative told me that little boy that slapped my daughter has an older brother, and the older brother is always beating him up. The older brother is always being mean to him. So you see what happened? He went to school. He can't manage his older brother, but he believed he can manage my daughter. So he decided, as I was saying, he couldn't manage his older brother. So he decided that he wanted to met out the same pain his older brother inflicted on him, on my daughter. So I'm using that as an example to show you the dangers of bullying. And people talking about they got over it. No, a lot of people did not. In case you didn't know, a lot of people didn't. And as I said before, the high crime rate is a prime example of people who did not get over bullying. I'm not saying that's an excuse, but it is an excuse. I'm not saying that it is right. I'm not saying that it justifies the behavior of being violent. But as I said in my other video, hurt people hurt people. So you have to be careful. Why? I mean, for adults who know better, and it shows the type of very disrespectful, very inhumane society that we live in, to think it's okay to post things like that on the internet about a teenager, about a child. It seems that we don't protect anybody. We don't believe in protect the demographic between the ages of 20 to 45, I think, doesn't believe in protecting anybody. They don't care about anybody because they're good. I'm good, so F everybody else, I'm good, I'm here, and I have this. So if I can say anything out of my mouth because I have the, the God-given right to say it, and nobody can stop me from saying anything foul or destructive because I can, and I just feel like they don't protect the elderly. They do not protect children. They protect nobody. It's fair game. It's open season on anyone. It's open season. So bullying, I just say anything as I see someone on the street, as I see someone on the internet, let's go in on that person because you must, and it's great to just say nasty things, destructive things. The level of degeneracy that's in the island. It's it's beyond comprehension. The things that you guys say about children, about people, it's not nice. It hurts. It's like you have an energy for something, you have to inject it somewhere. You have an energy to go out, or you have to inject it somewhere. It has to be injected somewhere. That's why there are theme parks. That's why there are relaxing park for people. Because something needs to let out, so it has to be injected somewhere. So it's the same thing when you're bullying someone. They can only take so much. The mind can only hold that amount. Eventually it's going to have to be injected somewhere. Somebody's going to feel it somewhere, somehow. Let us try to be careful of the things that we post online about children, about the elderly, about people. The demographic between the ages of 20, as I said, to around 45 years old, that's on the internet. It's so nasty, so destructive. It's like a culture of degeneracy, degenerate behavior. There's nothing to laugh about. The comments sound very prehistoric. Like there's no form of intelligence, there's no sort of substance in the mind. It's like a mass, the ear that takes up space. It's like there's a big white space between both ears. A brain isn't there. So let's just post. Let's just post whatever it is that we feel like. Person that's going through something like that throughout their childhood, and they go through it throughout their teenagehood, especially teenagers can be very harsh to each other. Very, very harsh to each other. And a lot of it is coming from the home. Sometimes they themselves bully their parents at home because somebody else is doing it to them, or they see others doing it to their parents. So a lot of things are intertwined in the society, and it's not showing a great result. We need to stop. Something has to stop from somewhere. Something has to stop somewhere. It can't continue. It cannot continue. So I just hope that people look into what I'm saying. The dangers of bullying. Nobody's out here justifying the killing of a teenager. Nobody said the dead was a bully either, because I do not know both students. I know nothing about them. Like I said, my channel is not for gossip. My channel is an eye-opener. That's why I call it the Devil Advocate. It's an eye-opener. It's going to show you things that you aren't really looking at. It's hidden in plain sight, but you aren't looking at that bigger picture because you don't care, and it's your life. And it's, I heard some people keep saying on the internet, I see a lot of people know, some sensation saying, I'm bigger than that now. I don't need to argue with people. I'm over that now. I'm not doing the things that I used to do on the internet. It's funny. You are saying things that you should have said when you were in high school. A high school student know right from wrong, know good from bad. You can't reach a certain age in your life and you're just decided that you're not going to argue with people. At what point are you learning? That's what happens when you have a low IQ. The brain is developing extremely poor. It's very poor. And you think that, okay, because I can hit back quicker, I can have a better comeback, and I can be more rude and feisty and disrespectful. You're thinking that, oh, you sound good and you're getting cheer on you. You're looking like a clown on the internet. It's an amusement park, It's an amusement to others. So at some point in time, yeah, it's good to grow up at some point, yes. But sometimes people are growing up too late for their own damn good. You're growing up too late. You should know that. What are you going to teach your child? What are you teaching your child? Because a lot of these people have children. What have they, if you at the age of 45, at the age of 39, at the age of 30, you just decide that I'm going to grow up and I'm going to stop arguing. If you didn't know that at the age of 18, 19, 20 years old, and you are a parent, what exactly were you teaching your child all along? What were you teaching your child all along? And it's not to be rude to people but sometimes you have to hold a mirror to show you what you look like. The things that you're saying, the most destructive things that you're saying. You're thinking that you're hurting somebody, eventually you're hurting yourself, because nobody can see the future. We can only foretell based on the happenings of the past and what's taking place now. But we can't predict it. And a lot of things that we say, a lot of things that people say will bite them later, will bite them. We're not perfect, I know, we're susceptible to making mistakes. But some people need to understand that, listen, being on the internet and saying disrespectful, destructive things about each other is not benefiting anyone. It's only leading to destruction. it's only leading to more problems. We cannot be walking around with a prehistoric mindset thinking that we don't have any responsibility as to the things that we say to people and about people. Because the younger generation are going to come up thinking it's okay, and each other are going to pay the price for it. So we have to be careful. And like I said, be the change that you want to see. Meaning that you should change if you want to see changes. How about you taking the first stand? You understand me? So we need to understand the dangers of bullying. We need to understand how to respect each other, how to look at each other as a human being, and cut out the foolishness, cut out the destructive behavior, the remedial patterns that are taking place in society. We need to cut it out. That's all I have to say for now about bullying. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Enjoy your day. May God bless you.